Hello and welcome to day 4 of ACOWAR week. So there are only a few days until A Court of Wings and Ruin comes out, and I'm very excited. I mean, when I'm filming this, there's like 10 days left, but the day that this is uploaded, there are only a couple days left, and I'm like beyond excited. I just finished ACOMAF last night, and guys, I was just as emotional as I was when I read it the first time, and I cried at the end of it again. I don't really reread books very often, and I normally don't cry in books either, so that's saying something. So now I finally have the opportunity to film my 5 best scenes from A Court of Mist and Fury, which is my favorite one in the series so far, and I'm really hoping that A Court of Wings and Ruin will beat this out for my favorite in the series. But we will see. So I had to narrow it down to 5 scenes, which was a struggle to say the least, because I absolutely love this book. I tabbed the crap out of it. All of the orange tabs, which I don't know if you can see the color of the tabs, but those are my favorite moments, and there are like 15 to 20 of them, and I tried to be like sparing with the tabs, so it was very hard to pick the ones that I was actually going to use in this video. There's some that I wish that I could put in here, but it's just going to be too much if I put all of my favorite scenes in this video, and it would turn into a book review. So if you guys don't reread books, then this is perfect for you guys, because you can get the highlights and remember some things that maybe you wouldn't have remembered if I didn't talk about them in this video, because one of the scenes in here I didn't remember until I reread it, and I'm so happy I reread this book. But anyways, let's get straight into the video. This is the moment that I feel that the book truly begins and the action truly starts. That is Feyre's wedding scene, when Rhys comes in and barges into Feyre's wedding. Feyre is walking down the aisle, and she's in a horrible wedding dress that she doesn't like, so it's already not going well. She just keeps saying over and over again in her head, "Save me, please save me, get me out, end this." And she just keeps thinking no over and over again as she's walking towards Tamlin. And then just the moment that he comes in and says, "Hello, Feyre, darling," that's where the book really kicks off. And I like how this moment is referred back to further on in the book, where Rhys is like, "I wasn't gonna get you and I wasn't gonna fulfill the bargain, but then I heard you begging through our bond and I had to come save you." And it just makes me so emotional, because originally when you're reading it, you think that Rhys is doing it to be like malicious and be like, "Huh, Tamlin, I showed you." But he's not. He's doing it to save Feyre. So I just love that moment. Okay, the next favorite moment that I have is very spaced out from this first one. I have a couple in between, like the Weaver scene and Rhys's bad dream that Feyre comes and talks to him and calms him down. But the one that I'm giving the title of my next top favorite moment is Starfall. And this is the one that I forgot about until I reread the book, which I'm so glad that I reread this. Starfall is really the first moment that Rhys gets Feyre to smile, and it happens 437 pages into the book. Feyre has been really miserable and just trying to get back to herself since what happened under the mountain, and I think that Starfall is the first time that she's truly genuinely happy, and I really love this scene. I love the visual aspect of it, where you're seeing like all of the spirits and the stars, just like shooting stars falling from the sky, and I love how they both get it all over them, and they get like slammed in the face and they laugh, and it's just so beautiful. It's such a beautiful scene. And when they're looking at more Azriel, Amren, and Cassian dancing together, and Feyre is like, "Come dance with me," to Rhys, I just love this part, and I think that it's so beautiful, and it's a beautiful moment between Rhys and Feyre. So the next part is kind of more of a sequence rather than a scene. I had to put all of these in here, and they all kind of fit within the same thing, so I'm just counting it as one. That is the whole part where Rhys gets shot down out of the sky when he's carrying Feyre, and he gets taken away, and Feyre goes to find him and she tracks him, and that scene is just so badass. Feyre smells her scent on Rhys, so she knows which way to go, and she's just like calculating, and like all she cares about is getting him back. And then she finally finds him, and he's in a cave, and his wings are like broken, and he is like has a bunch of arrows in his wings, and he's poisoned. And then she goes to find the Suriel and trap it again, which is a nice like nod to the first book when she first trapped the Suriel. And the Suriel tells Feyre that if she wants to heal her mate, then she needs to give him her blood, and she is like, "What? My mate?" Just the realization that they're mates and that their bond is more than just a bargain. You're just like, oh my god, and you're getting all this information, and then just like my ship is coming together, and I just love this part. And then Feyre gets so angry that Rhys didn't tell her. That whole part is just one of my top favorite scenes, if not like my favorite. I just love that whole sequence. My next favorite moment is the cabin scene, both when Feyre paints everyone's eyes. The whole cabin sequence with Rhys and Feyre is one of my favorite scenes. I think it's a lot of people's favorite scene, and it was just like a long time coming, and you finally just got what you needed, and then all hell broke loose after that. But at least we got a couple moments and a couple pages of happiness before our hearts got ripped out of our chests. That brings me to my fifth and final favorite scene, very end of the book, when we get the first chapter from Rhys's perspective. He gets home after the whole thing that happens with the King of Hybern, who I hate, and Tamlin, who I hate, and the Queens, who I hate, and how Feyre's sisters got turned into Fae, and that whole sequence of stress, basically. We still think that the bond between Rhys and Feyre was broken by the King of Hybern, which was the part that I cry at every time. So then Rhys gets back to Valeris, and Amren is there, and she is like, where is she? And he says that he knows that she wasn't talking about Mor. She was talking about Feyre, and it always seemed like Amren like didn't really like Feyre, but you could tell that she did at the same time. But she's just a very closed off person, so to see her be like that towards Feyre first hurts your heart. And then after that, Rhys says that the King of Hybern tried to break the bond between them, and she's like, that's impossible, that can't happen. And he's like, you're right, it can't. And then he says that the night before, him and Feyre got formally mated, and she has an identical tattoo on her right hand to the one on her left hand from the bargain. And then you're just like, yes, finally some hope. He says that the mating bond is still intact between him and Feyre, and that Feyre is now the High Lady of the Night Court. And everyone's like, what? Because High Ladies aren't a thing, and Feyre always said like, oh, aren't there High Ladies to Tamlin? And Tamlin was like, no, that's not tradition, there aren't High Ladies. So this part is just like, just kills me, because the line after that, he tells them that she went back to save them, and Mor goes, are you telling me that our High Lady is in enemy territory? The way that they defend her and the way that the inner circle interacts with Feyre, just like, it's so beautiful, and I just love the relationship between her and Mor and Amren and Cassian and Azriel and Rhys, and I just love their unit. And if anything happens to them in A Court of Wings and Ruin, which I'm sure it will, I'm going to be so upset, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to recover. This scene is just like, leaves you off, and you're just like, yes. But anyway, that wraps up my favorite scenes from A Court of Mist and Fury. Of course, I have many more that I really love, like the Water Wolves and the Weaver and all of the scenes between Rhys and Feyre, but those are just 5 of my top scenes. I would love to hear what some of your top scenes from this book are down below, because I can talk about it until I die, which will probably happen once I read A Court of Wings and Ruin. But yeah, so that is it for day 4 of ACOWAR week. We're almost there. I will see you guys tomorrow for day 5. If you like this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up, and you can also subscribe down below if you want to see more of my videos, and tune in for more of ACOWAR week. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye!